This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back, Tori.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
All right.
We missed you, girl.
I really miss you guys. Really. Did you guys have a good weekend?
We did.
Yeah?
How's your fam?
Not great.
Yeah, that's honest.
Yeah.
That's why people watch
Not
our
great.
show.
Yeah.
That's real.
There's nothing more to say than I'm working really hard to caregive and make sure I'm there for them.
All right.
All right. Well, welcome back.
Thank
Let's get
you.
to
Got
it,
your back,
guys.
girl.
Thank you.
Taylor
Appreciate
Swift
that.
is sealing her relationship with a kiss. In a photo that is breaking the internet, Taylor kissed Travis on the cheek while posing with his teammate and his girlfriend. I don't see a teammate, but that's his girlfriend. But some fans noticed that she doesn't have her signature red lips on that she was wearing throughout the game and all the time. I haven't even noticed a picture without her lips on. On another note, a new poll says there are far fewer Swifties and Beyonce fans out there than you would think. Yahoo and YouGov polled just under 1,700 adults. 23% said they were fans of Taylor, and the same number said they were fans of Beyonce, and only 12% were fans of both, and 72% of husbands were on OnlyFans.
I think that last number's a little low.
Yeah. I don't know where I got that.
Some wives were on OnlyFans too, you know.
This is an interesting poll. What do you think, Cubby?
I think it's interesting that people think that 23% is low. I think 23% is very high.
Right.
To get 23% of anyone to agree on anything is a major feat. For them to agree on one person, nevertheless two, and the idea that there is a cross market of 12% between Beyonce and Taylor fans is pretty substantial. It also goes to show you like the meaning of Beyonce showing up for Taylor, not once, not twice, God only knows how many behind the scenes. I think that really goes to show why there's so much interest in Taylor stories, Beyonce stories, them together.
Yeah, they're good role models. They're really good people. They're not over drinkers. They're not over smokers. They're smart. They're kind people. They're generous. They show up for others. And I also think maybe people didn't say they were fans because there's a difference between being a fan of Taylor Swift and a Swiftie. And you don't want to be called...
Please explain.
Okay, so a fan is like someone's like, love story, like they know the basics. If you're a Swiftie, you know her hidden secret Easter egg message and what lip means what. So some people don't want to claim that because that's a very tween feeling. So maybe people were afraid to say they were fans because they didn't want to be in that category.
I mean, I look at them as two artists that, one, we're skipping over. They make music that people like. And there's a certain time in your life where if a Taylor Swift song is playing a lot that summer that you fell in love for the first time,
or
you
broke
went
up
to Europe, or
that's what happened with me.
the first time you feel like you became like an adult and you had a real relationship that was highs and lows.
To the left, to the left.
Everything I own in a box to the left.
Box to the left.
Everything you
Everything
own.
you own.
That's right. Everything you own. That's right.
It resonates with people clearly,
Yeah.
and I think that the crossover is what's interesting to me because I feel like Taylor Swift is kind of, and this is not an insult, kind of like an idealistic way to look at love, and Beyonce seems like she's more nitty gritty. Obviously with Lemonade, when you kind of get into like the highs and the real lows of relationships, so I was surprised to see the crossover there.
I thought it was a little low. You guys didn't think it was low? You guys thought it was high. I thought the number was low.
I think 23% is a very high number.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can't think about all of the topics that people go head to head on and think about how many people actually agree on really anything. I think what you see with Beyonce and Taylor, and there's a lot of other artists who fall into this category, the reason why they're able to have longevity is because of their ability to evolve. It gives their demographics, their fans, permission to evolve, which is something that society doesn't necessarily give people the opportunity to evolve. So when you see, like, when you were describing Beyonce's music or Taylor's music, yes, but also that's how they're perceived or how they're projecting in that era or in that time frame or during that album. Like there's so many different iterations, because like when I think of me being a Beyonce fan versus Jure being a Beyonce fan,
Jure,
like,
our wonderful makeup stylist.
our wonderful makeup artist, all the things, but he's very much in the now. Like I have a nostalgia about Beyonce because Beyonce got me through critical breakups in my
Taylor
like,
for me.
Yeah,
that's my Taylor.
high school. I think about high school and college
Yeah.
with Beyonce. So yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
I would feel social pressure if I did that survey. 'Cause
Would
if
you
they're-
say you were a fan just because?
Beyonce, yes. No, but here's the question: is Beyonce? Yes. But do you? Yes.
You're afraid to say no.
100%. Yeah. Just
well,
say yes all across the board. Taylor too. I don't want to get swifted.
Don't.
All right.
Don't.
So Britney's memoir hits shelves today. We've been talking about it a lot, and the book has already been making headlines. For details about Britney's split from Justin Timberlake, of course, and her details about her conservatorship. Now Britney is revealing she was very aware of the Free Britney movement, which she said meant so much to her and got her heart because she was not okay at the time. She wrote, "The fact her fans sensed what was happening to her is a debt she could never repay."
I want people to just hold two things, more than two things with Britney. A lot of people are like, Britney with knives, Britney is this. That can be true, that she needs help. But I'm interested in reading about the conservatorship because I think she was also in a very abusive place. Both can be true. She was mentally in a place that she needed some help, and her father was a known alcoholic who's been in and out of rehabs that held her in an abusive way, so says a judge.
Right.
So I think you can allow for both. People need to broaden their nuances with Britney. It's not just knives and craziness, which it is. That's part of the conversation. But we need to talk about the conservatorship.
And I think we shouldn't divorce these two stories, Erica. I want to hear what you have to say, but like we talked about Beyonce related to you at a certain time in your life. Taylor relates to people at certain times in their life. And I think so does Britney.
Of course,
even
yeah.
the kind of lost thread years. I think a lot of people feel like that inside.
Yeah, people felt like they were advocating for her. You talked about getting swifted. I got speared.
Is that what they call it?
Well, I don't know, but I know I got it.
Yeah.
Because I really thought that it was a disservice at the time because I thought that she was suffering from some mental health issues, and I thought that was an amplification of the issues that she was having.
Sure.
But since then, it's a much bigger conversation.
Right.
But it's also a conversation that I never really feel comfortable having because I think that she's always going to be at the butt of it.
Yeah.
And that makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
So,
Hopefully this narrative helps her own some of it.
We
Have
will
some
be
agency.
talking more about it.
I'm sure.
That's for sure. Coming up on DBL, Cher opens up about the large age gap with her boyfriend and why conversations between them don't always go smoothly. And real life players are stepping into the Squid Game on a new competition show. People will do anything.
Let the games begin.
With what? Social?
Yes.
social media.
I was making the joke before the camera came on that if Jeff and Erica aren't here, it's because Erica was speared and Jeff was swifted. and it's.
Could you imagine saying that in 10 years? Like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah, your kids are like, you heard Lawson's dad? You got swifted 10 years ago. It hadn't left the basement since.
I found myself in this middle of a cross section of pop culture because at the time, and this was when our show was really like, people were really engaging at the height, or starting to take off on social media. I had never experienced anything like that.
So give us an example of like
I
what you're
said
taking.
something, I had an argument with, or a debate with one of our former co-hosts, Brandon London, about Taylor Swift. And I was really coming to her defense. He was like dragging her. And the next thing I knew, like we both woke up on like a Sunday morning and our Twitters were like insane.
Like,
On my side, it was like, she's a Swiftie, or like we're gonna adopt her as a Swiftie, like bless this queen, protect her at all costs. And Brandon was getting like completely run over on his side. And it was like its own machine that kept going and going. But then when I made the comment about Britney, and I wasn't saying anything against Britney, I just didn't understand the Free Britney movement at that time. I was concerned that it was amplifying something that I felt should be private. Since then, we know it's a little bit of both, but the Britney Spears people came after me, so the Taylor Swift people defended me, and I was like...
It's like that battle in Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Welcome back to DBL. We're getting a first look at a new reality competition show based off the hit Netflix series Squid Game. So in Squid Games, the challenge, players from around the world play a series of games similar to the show in hopes of winning $4.56 million. Is that 4.5? Is that significant to the show?
Yeah, why 4.56?
Like numerical like that?
I don't know.
That's how much it was in the show.
Okay, so
I did my research. Watch.
Please enter the game hall immediately.
What is this?
Damn.
Oh my God!
Let the game begin.
But some contestants told The Sun that the experience was a little too close to the show, where people actually died while playing the games. One compared it to a war zone. Another said one person was carried out on a stretcher. Well, that's not dead. Netflix has denied any wrongdoing. If you did a show with the real Squid Games, I'm not even joking, people would sign up.
They said
Anything
they would.
to be famous in this day and age. I'm
Without
not
a doubt, they
kidding.
would turn people away. What do you mean sign up? They would have to have a cutoff. People would definitely do that if they were actually taking lives.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it says more about the system of finance that we live under, that people feel so desperate that they would, I think if the prize was big enough, put their lives on the line. But thank God we're not talking about this in this situation. But at the same time, if you sign up for a game that's adjacent to Squid Games, you should expect it to be pretty intense.
Well, take a look. I have a little bit of footage, speaking of that. Take a look at what the footage looks like when you're eliminated from this game, okay? Take a look.
Oh.
Ooh. So they squirt out kind of a blood thing, and it's a paintball thing.
Do you think with all the mass shootings that this might be
What does that have
triggering
to
to
do with
somebody?
death? Like,
Well, it's simulating getting shot.
yeah, but what do you mean it's real to the game? Like, the challenge itself
Yeah.
on MTV is way harsher than a balloon popping in your shirt.
It is true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I think a paintball would be pretty real, but I would just think that there would be more people like that would sign up for the challenge. People that were kind of ready for it. That seem like regular folks.
I don't know. I don't know. I think, like I said, anybody, you could get anybody, you could think of the craziest reality show in your head, anything, the craziest, and you will have a line of people lined up to be on that show. Because I think the price of fame in this era, like Instagram fame, reality fame, is worth more than actual cash.
Like
or
the currency of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that society has deemed it. But y'all need to look at the price of living, the price of groceries, because you can't take fame and pay your mortgage, okay? You cannot take notoriety and get milk. So I think it's a strange juxtaposition, because people feel like, oh, if I get this, then that automatically means that. And I really do feel like all of these things with reality shows and social media, it's all a pyramid scheme. The people who got in at the top, at the beginning, are making the money, and then a lot of people might have some success, but you're not necessarily going to get the same success of those who came before you.
But your brain doesn't know that, right?
Right,
It
because
thinks
you're
it's a
being
dopamine.
sold.
Exactly.
Right.
You're being sold by the dopamine hit that I'm getting an influencer and I'm getting this amount of likes and followers, where it's not actually meaningful to anything.
In terms of money.
Right, in terms of quantifiable things. It's like someone's going to write a term paper in 10 years about the socioeconomic reasoning of these shows, and it's going to be really sad to hear.
Yeah. Oh, good luck, everybody. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson isn't impressed with his new wax figure. I love these things. It was unveiled at a museum in Paris and has been blasted for being too light-skinned.
He looks white.
I'd say so. The Rock, who is Samoan and black, said he would reach out to the museum, which I thought was thoughtful. He didn't blast them, to see if they can update it, starting with his skin color. He isn't alone. Rapper Lil Wayne, and I haven't seen this yet, isn't happy with his Hollywood Wax Museum figure in Tennessee. On TikTok, one person asked why they disrespected Lil Wayne like that.
I think that looks good.
I don't think it's
terrible. I've seen some that are worse, but that's not great.
That's not him.
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. He looks a little emaciated, and again, the color is a little off. And I don't think
his face doesn't look like that. His face is actually somebody else. Yeah.
There's some that are way. It's not terrible. There's some that are way worse.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Maybe it's him after dermaplane.
There you go. He did respond to the backlash with humor on X. He wrote, sorry, Wax Museum, that bleep ain't me. You tried, and I appreciate the effort. So that was pretty good. A lot of them are good.
Yeah,
like, a lot of them are really terrible. I mean,
y'all
like,
were
really
seeing
terrible.
Travis Barker.
So Travis Barker I saw yesterday, and this is the best one I've ever seen.
Wait, whoa.
The one on the right is the statue. The one on the left is him.
Wow.
So the black jacket is the statue.
That's
how good that
insane.
is. You can't even tell them apart.
That looks real. The skin looks real.
Yeah, that's the
scruff
best
looks real.
one I've ever seen.
I'm not even joking. It seems like they can do one skin tone really well.
Oh, you're
and
right.
so they not. I mean, because for as much as The
Great
Rock, the skin was off, I felt like the other parts, the tattoo, the look, the facial expression was dead on. It's just that
Color.
they have issues with the bronzer. So they gotta work on that. But if they can just figure out how to adjust that, I think a lot of these are dead on.
A lot of people said he looks like Vin Diesel. And
He looks like The Rock.
Does he?
He just looks very.
Why does someone have to wax? Can't you just can't we print everything?
Yeah, can we
nowadays?
3D print
Can't you make it perfect?
Right.
Because it's the art.
Well, obviously everyone's failing except Travis Barker. Have you ever been to a wax museum? It's horrendous.
It is bad. It is bad. You're like, who is this?
Yeah, you don't even know who they are.
But isn't that kind of the part of the fun? If it looked just like them, you'd be like, I'll just go to the
posing
museum.
like to a dirty picture next to him is part of the
Yeah, that is fun. Or they're sitting down and you're like, hello. You know?
Where's that finger?
Yeah, right.
That was weird. Coming up on DBL, Cher is talking about how her boyfriend doesn't get all of her references in conversation. Maybe it has something to do with their difference in age.
Because of increased tension in many hot spots around the world, the State Department issued a worldwide caution when it comes to travel. But what if you find yourself in a crisis and need to get back to the United States? We are looking at some questions so we can verify if and when the U.S. will help. Our source is the U.S. Department of State Bureau of Consular Affairs, Federal Law, and the State Department Basic Authorities Act of 1956. Our first question, will the United States government always evacuate citizens in crises? According to the U.S. Department of State, if there are no commercial options, if there are consular officers at the embassy, and if conditions permit, they will help U.S. citizens identify possible transportation options. Or they will encourage people to stay at a safe location until they can find a commercial option to leave. So we can verify that no, depending on the situation, the U.S. government won't always evacuate citizens. And finally, do you have to pay the U.S. government for evacuations if it's needed? According to federal law, assisted evacuation of a private U.S. citizen must be reimbursed to the maximum extent practicable. The payment for people who evacuate during times of war, crisis, or natural disaster has been in place for more than 60 years when it was included under the State Department Basic Authorities Act of 1956. The U.S. Department of State says you do not have to pay before you board any transportation. However, you will need to sign a form promising to repay the U.S. government. So we can verify that, yes, if the U.S. government helps evacuate you, you need to repay them for the cost. With your Verified, I'm Megan Bragg.
Welcome back. Cher is opening up about her 40-year age gap with her boyfriend. Cher, who is 77, is dating music producer Alexander Edwards, who is 37. She told Extra TV that the age difference isn't an issue most of the time. Let's watch.
Sometimes I'm talking to him and he has no idea who I'm talking about. So the other day I said, do you know who? I don't know, Clark Gable. I don't know. Somebody went, yes, of course. But most of my references, you know, are he'll look at me and go, I wasn't born yet.
Oh my God.
If I could turn back time. she'd get the references.
But I don't, it just seems, yeah, we're gonna, look. Reset. I'll just say this. It seems like a tall task. Obviously, there is probably a physical attraction between these two, but mentally.
Come on, dude. Get real. You can look at me all you want. Give me my paycheck.
Look, I will tell you this after we get I know a situation of a person that like that age gap.
Okay, I hear what you're throwing out.
A lot of situations.
Not
like
a lot,
that.
Erica.
Okay.
There's not a lot.
There's enough for it to be an entire
segment on a site.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
I see.
but that-
Older
yeah, but
women.
come on,
Older
That's
women.
not, yes,
Hey,
but
do you want to go to the bedroom?
You don't see it a lot. You don't see it a lot. And I'd say for this, most of it isn't in the bedroom. Most of your relationship is outside of the bedroom. And I would think that having somebody 40 years younger than you would negate every conversation,
I agree with
all
Al.
of your life's memories.
Yes.
Would part of like your relationship with Anthony is every day you guys are building a history together. You guys are like, remember 2 years ago, remember Niagara Falls. If you don't have any of that and you can't relate to any of your history, what do you have?
Well, the last story that we had about Cher was that he can't keep up with her drive in the bedroom.
That's baloney.
So if that's the nature of what she wants at this point in her life, then I think that's what's being served here.
So it's just a sexual relationship?
I don't know. I'm saying that seemingly is a big part of it.
Don't you think it's weird when she says she doesn't get my references that Cher might be one of those references?
Yeah.
Don't you think that's weird? Like, I was like, would he know Cher
He doesn't
unless
understand
he's dating?
any of my life.
Right. Like Bob Mackie, like all those people she was.
I didn't get that reference.
Oh, that's the fashion design. Okay.
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 So
Okay.
I didn't get the age gap between Niagara Falls either.
no, I was just saying, like when you
Erica's famous trip to Niagara Falls.
big
no,
one.
when
The
you guys
big
have
one.
dated, you guys have things to look back on. I don't see what they're looking back on. I don't know what they're reminiscing about. I don't.
Maybe it is
no, I'm
just
with
sex.
you, man. I don't
Maybe
know.
it is sex.
Maybe try going down Niagara Falls in a barrel. Remember that? We'll be right back. The cartoons? Nobody?
No, a real.
Around 8 to 10 million people are treated for urinary tract infections or UTIs annually. UTIs happen when bacteria infect the urinary tract, including the bladder and the kidneys. Though the most common UTI treatment is antibiotics, if you've ever had a UTI, chances are somebody suggested that you drink cranberry juice to make it go away. Verify viewer Naguri asked us if that is a legit treatment. So let's verify using these sources. According to experts at Houston Methodist Hospital, HealthWise, and Kaiser Permanente, no studies have shown that drinking cranberry juice or taking cranberry supplements actually works to treat UTIs.
An article published in 2020 by Urology Associates explains that cranberry won't cure a UTI because it will not kill the bacteria that causes the infection.
So we can verify there is no evidence that cranberry juice is an effective treatment for an active urinary tract infection. So, where did this claim come from? According to urologist Dr. Leslie Rickey,
there is pretty good data and increasing data that some forms of cranberry might help prevent urinary tract infections.
Experts at Piedmont Healthcare and Houston Methodist say it's likely because of proanthocyanidins, a substance found in cranberries that may keep the bacteria that causes UTIs from sticking to bladder walls in the first place and causing an infection. So, while cranberry juice won't treat UTIs, the FDA says consuming 1 8-ounce serving each day of cranberry juice beverage may help reduce the risk of recurrent urinary tract infection. With your Verify, I'm Ariante Till.
Ready to fall back on November 5th as most states once again mark the end of daylight saving time. 2 Verify viewers texted us to ask if, after this year, the U.S. plans to remain on daylight saving time permanently. So, let's verify. Our sources are the Uniform Time Act, the Sunshine Protection Act, and the National Conference of State Legislatures. The Uniform Time Act created a nationwide daylight saving time schedule to move our clocks forward in the spring and back in the fall. The law allows states to opt out of the schedule and remain on standard time year-round, which is why Hawaii, most of Arizona, and U.S. territories don't change their clocks. However, many states would prefer to remain on daylight saving time year-round. In the last 5 years, 19 states have either enacted legislation or passed resolutions to stay sprung forward all year long. California voters also passed a proposition to stay on daylight saving time, but that still needs action from the state legislature. No state can switch to DST until they get congressional approval. In 2021, the House didn't take up a bill to keep daylight saving time year-round, and a similar bill is currently pending with no signs that Congress will vote on it this year. So, no, the U.S. is not planning to remain on daylight saving time year-round.
Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out. So what do you have for us today, Steph?
First up today, we've got this Simple Living 6-piece garment wash sheet set. We've got the set in 6 colors, 3 sizes, full, queen and king. And sheets are always a top seller on Morning Save. Normally they are between $60 to $80. We've got a set for just $24.99. That is saving 69%.
What else we got, Steph?
All right, now this is definitely up your alley. It's the Phantom Chef 2-piece Grove Collection non-stick pan set. So this doorbuster deal includes one 8-inch pan and one 11-inch pan. The doorbuster deals have been wildly popular. So you guys, there's a limit of 3 per customer. Normally it's $76, but we have got a 2-piece set for just $20. That's saving 74%. All right, now this is my kind of buy. It is the Rejovic 6-piece anti-aging collagen boosting skincare set. This deal includes 2 eye creams, 2 boosting serums, and 2 melting creams. And guess what? It's normally $330. But we have it for $19.99. That's saving 94%.
And you know what else is great? You also get 2 of everything.
If you want to treat someone, this is the gift. It is the Diamond Muse 1/4 carat TW Diamond Heart toggle bracelet in sterling silver. Diamond Muse jewelry is always a top selling product because it's beautiful quality and we give a great discount. Normally, this is $395. We've got it for $39.99. That's saving 90%.
Steph, you are bringing the deals. Hey, that's 2 in a row, over 90% savings. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even scan the QR code on the screen to take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Again, Steph, great job as always. So I got a trunk full of pans and sheets and lotion and stuff. So Tori said it's okay to steal everything if you do Deal Blast.
Tori, is that true?
Look at my face. Is that what I'm saying? No. You get it in the raffle. And then you take a few on the side.
No, wow.
A few?
Oh my gosh.
Just a few. I'm just kidding.
Beef. We'll see you tomorrow.